Ladies and gentlemen, this is Andrew E. Guy. Welcome to another episode of the ILIRPODCAST. I'm listening. I'm ready. It is a podcast that's dedicated for those who are on the go. Whether you're traveling by land, air, or sea, this is me. I am truly excited, but that's an understatement because it happens every single week. We bring the energy, we bring the people who are movers and shakers in our generation, all right? These are the individuals who are making the mark now for the future and more to come.
It's the moment you've been waiting for. It's a conversation that must be had today and not tomorrow. Welcome to another episode of I'm Listening, I'm Ready with your host, Andrew E. Guy. Let's talk about it.
We're talking about the individual who are disrupting normalcy to make sure that when you see them, you will have an experience. And speaking of experience, you ever go out to the park and the trees are just moving and dancing in the air and there's a sudden woof of joy that just comes up in your heart and makes you want to sing, make you want to dance, make you just want to move? Well, I'm telling you, my next guest is doing just that. With the invention of his Joy Plus app, he is disrupting normalcy at where and how and when to have your joy. My next guest, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my guest, and then we're going to drip the bio as we go through. It's an exciting individual, very bright and well-learned individual. His name is John Robinson. And John Robinson Jr. is the founder and CEO of Joy Plus, a free app, a social media platform for the personal development space. It gives him the innovation and the gratitude of the journal and vision board. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't waste any time. Please help me welcome to the stage. Welcome to ILIRPODCAST, I call him Mr. J. Rob, Mr. John Robinson. Talk to the people, John. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. God is good. Andrew, that was phenomenal. I'm super excited to be in this conversation with you because you are just as bright, you are just as innovative, and you are serving with the ILIR podcast. I want you to know that I am listening to you weekly, and I'm ready to have this conversation today.
Awesome, my brother. Awesome. I'm excited that you're here, man. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I gotta really strap down into the seat because when the excitement comes, I feel this joy in the air. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if it's because it's you that's here or it's the app that most people are going to download after this, but I want people to get out there and get this app. And I'm not even going to wait until we get to the end of this interview. I want them to know where to get this app right from the get-go. So, John, I want to ask you to tell them where they can find you and where they can get this app. So go ahead and tell them right away.
On your mobile phone, just go to the Apple App Store on your phone, or if you have an Android phone, the Google Play Store, type in Joy Plus. You can spell it out or use the plus sign. Both work. Joy Plus, hit search, and you'll see it right at the top.
All right. So now you have no excuse why you shouldn't have your joy when you want it, how you want it, and where you want it. It's called Anywhere, Anytime, Anyhow. Get some joy. All right, John, I'm excited. Your background, man, you have a plethora of knowledge, of expertise in real estate, in the personal development space. So I want to start off with this question here. At ILIR, we always ask the question, where are you now, where you have been, and where do you see yourself going? So where are you now? Where are you in your mindset? Where are you now?
Right now, I am running a team for the Joy Plus app. I think what I should do is take a step back and tell your listeners what the Joy Plus app really is. And what it does, it gives users a gratitude journal and a vision board, and it connects you to mentors. So the idea is to be happy in the moment, just like you kind of described.
Yeah.
The idea is to be optimistic for the future. And then for those that want to level up and meet a coach to help guide them, there's a marketplace with individuals there as well. So where I am today is it's been extremely fun working your passion and empowering other people. It never does feel like work. It always feels like play. So doing that on a daily basis, and then knowing that it's making an impact globally. Since Joy Plus launched, there are downloads in Barcelona, Greece, Italy, Colombia, North America, London, England, etc. So knowing the impact is also extremely gratifying. Where I am going really is the exponential curve of social media. We know that when you're grateful and other people see how grateful you are, you inspire them to be grateful as well. Now, when people are doing this internationally, and you know that you help influence that, it's almost like a trifecta, right? You were grateful to begin with initially. You've inspired other people, so now they're grateful, and now you feel good because you helped them. So it just the energy and the synergy grows, and joy is contagious. So where I see Joy Plus in 10 years is, what do you want to do? 1, 2, 3 billion users? Why not? Why not half the world? Who wouldn't want more joy in their life?
I absolutely love it. I ask you that question because most people, they can kind of paraphrase, where they're going because they can actually see the stairs a long way off, and they can remember where they're coming from because of hurt, because of trauma, whatever the case may be. But many have slight difficulty kind of put the big picture into place as to where they are right now. I believe it's key that we
Let me,
all
let me
go ahead.
let me jump in right there because
No, you
I know
jump in anytime, my brother. Come on, talk to me.
only because it's so important.
Yes.
You mentioned so many people are dealing with a rough time. We're still in a pandemic, even though restrictions are being lifted. However, COVID will either work for you or against you. And I have a lot of empathy for those that it has worked against. So many people have lost loved ones. That's nothing to joke about. And then other people are dealing with a lot of stress, anxiety, and depression. And this is how I knew when mid-March 2020 happened and we all got slapped in the face with this pandemic. Like, what? What? The NBA shut down. We can't go in stores. We can't walk. We got to wear a mask. We're all like, what? So we're dealing with it. And a lot of people were not able to be optimistic in the future. Andrew, there's 4 mindsets that people typically have. And I have had all 4 of these different types of mindsets. Maybe you have. I'm sure your listeners can relate. The first mindset is not happy with the moment, but I do see the end of the road. I do see the end of the tunnel. And I've been there for sure. I think we all have. People are sitting there right now because the pandemic is still not over. But what happens in this mindset is that it builds anxiety. The second mindset is if we invert that, you actually do have some people that they are happy with the moment, but they don't really care about their future. Think of someone out partying without a mask, no vaccine, they're having a good time tonight, but they might catch COVID and they're not being responsible. The third mindset is unfortunately the worst one, and it's when you're not happy with the moment and you have no hope for the future. Andrew, this is depression. It's a tough place to be, and many people are feeling it, and I have a lot of empathy for that. The ultimate mindset is to be happy with the moment and have high hope for the future. Gratitude and optimism. When you have both in unison simultaneously, that is when you are in the zone. That is when, have you ever watched, there's a movie called Limitless. A guy who popped a pill and he could run faster, jump higher, he's like Superman.
No, I haven't watched it, no. Tell me about it.
When you get the idea, you kind of have like these, X-Men superpowers when you pop that pill. But we're not talking about a pill. We're talking about natural energy. You get those. I find myself even more intuitive, more sharper, just generally more on point when I am grateful and optimistic. And I know some people call it flow. I call it being in the zone. And that is that is what's at stake here. We are inverting depression, we're inverting anxiety and stress, we're inverting living irresponsibly, and we're being a little more deliberate on how we could be more grateful and optimistic with the Joy Plus app, because there is a gratitude journal and there is a vision board.
I absolutely love the way you say that, Joe Jordan. I think one of the things, just to add to what you're saying, why most people are being ungrateful or not relishing the moments is really because they're just floating through life. They really are not present in the moment, so to speak. And what do I mean by that? They're not taking notes. And so this is why I actually love the Joy app. I'm going to be downloading that thing, and my sons and my family is going to be on that app. So listen, we are going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you're talking about is living by design or default, right?
That is true.
100%. And some of the, Andrew, I could tell that you're a high performer. I could tell.
Well, thank you, my brother. So are you.
I consider myself a high performer, and I've learned from so many other high performers, and they typically have a lot of similar traits. It's not always about being the hardest worker, although working hard is super important. Right. But if most successful people were the hardest working people, then construction workers and waiters, waitresses, busboys, busting tables, they will be the wealthiest because they work the hardest.
Correct.
That might not be the case. So it comes back down to what you were saying, Andrew. It comes back down to being organized. You said write things down on paper. Correct. I always start my day off with a paper and a pad.
Awesome.
It's right in front of me.
Awesome.
And write down, I got your name on my list. Start your day off by getting bam. Yeah, I wish everyone could just show their pad right now.
Every single day, man.
Starting your day off super organized. So the most organized people are usually the ones that become very high performers. There is diligence is hard work, but also prudence. And prudence is making correct decisions. Yes. And to make correct decisions, it's about avoiding distractions. How do you avoid distractions? You have to have a true North Star. Yes. A specific SMART goal. I think most people are familiar with SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. Yes. Have a North Star SMART goal that you could head towards, a visual that you could look at every single day. You could have your North Star in the Joy Plus vision board.
I'm looking forward to it. When did you come up with this, the concept? When did you, and how did it come to you? First of all, we want to, because I want to drip this bio to them. I want to give a little bit more before we dig deep into this, because I want them to know the caliber of individual that I'm talking with right now, conversating with, sitting down with. I want them to just wrap their mind about when they get into the Joy app, they're actually getting your mind, your creativity. That's what I want them to see. And I want them to run out, and I want them to go and get involved and download this app. So we're talking with Mr. John Robinson Jr., and he is the founder and CEO of the Joy app. Listen, John is also a diversity and equity and inclusion consultant. He has spoken at companies like Top Hat, American Express, etc., and how to increase representation and allyship while reducing microaggression in the workplace. So this is not just your personal well-being or development. He also cares about where you work, which kind of aligns with what we're talking about, helping you to create your greatest impact where you live, work, and play, right? So John, I want you to kind of get into telling us, how did you come about with the concept for the app, and when did you know you have something golden here?
I wrote a book titled Joy and Love. It's right here. 16 chapters. It's pretty thick.
Right.
8 years ago, and I always knew I wanted to simplify my methodology in a digital way. Fast forward to 2020, not only did we have the pandemic, but we also had the social uprising when George Floyd was murdered.
Correct.
That is when I became an even bigger champion for diversity, equity, and inclusion. You kind of mentioned that in my bio.
Yes.
Now, I did a talk for 300 plus employees at American Express, including Top Hat. I was chatting with C-suite execs at Google, etc. And what's important when it comes to, I'll just touch on the diversity part. Of course, we all want to have inclusive and diverse workplaces, but some companies, for example, Levi's, was very transparent and upfront and open, saying, yeah, we might appear diverse on a surface level, but when you take a closer look, the frontline employees, yes, we're diverse, but the further you go up the pyramid, and not just management, but director, VP, C-suite, was the less diverse it got. So the answer is to have diverse leadership, and what that will do is directly impact the experience. You talked about the experience at the top of the conversation.
Correct.
that your buyers have and be able to relate with them and be more empathetic towards them. That's the DEI piece. Back to the book, Joy and Love. One of the questions that you asked me a few minutes ago is, how did it even come about? It's actually a pretty interesting story. And I say this with a straight face. Andrew, I had a spiritual intervention.
Talk to us.
I had a moment where actually it was Christmas Eve. I just moved out of my parents' house. This is, when I was about 26, 27, close to those ages. I'm not going to disclose my age right now, but it was a long time ago.
You're a young man.
The point is that I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, and I wanted to get to my parents' house for 6 a.m. So that was one of the first people that they saw. But when I woke up, it wasn't like, I felt like a lightning go through my body. I felt like an electricity go through my toes, my knees, my hips, my elbows, my earlobes. My nose was beaming with light, and I felt consumed. It was just a foreign experience I've never felt before in my life. I got up and I just started writing. What do? We start writing some affirmations because it's Christmas, the New Year's coming up in about a week. I started writing about spirituality, health, knowledge, character, wealth, relationships. And it wasn't until months after I looked back at these notes, this is when I had all this energy consumed in me from that lightning experience. The handwriting looked so pretty. I never wrote that pretty in my life. The I's were dotted, the T's were crossed. It was harmony. And then I ended up elaborating it into 16 chapters titled Joy and Love. So Joy and Love, really short. The idea is to maximize joy in your life and love in the world. These are very tall, ambitious goals.
Yes.
I simplified it on how to do that using one formula. Andrew, the formula is love energy. And the way I describe love energy is kind of like we've been doing this exchange, this entire conversation.
Yes.
When you inhale internally, you're inhaling faith and confidence and gratitude.
Talk to me, man.
And the way you're dealing with other people is with compassion and empowerment and a guiding hand. You are a guiding hand. That is exactly what you're doing with your I'm Listening and I'm Ready podcast. You're living this already, Andrew. When this is in circulation, that is when answers, clues, and rewards, coincidences start appearing up. And this is how these are signs for you to follow to achieve your desired end result in life. I broke it down in 16 chapters, but the app is a simple way to plug in your gratitude, plug in your optimism. There's actually a little bit of sugar on top that I didn't even mention yet. This is
you gotta mention it.
I didn't share this with you yet. I'm ready to pour a little sugar on it.
Make it
when
happen.
You actually post in your gratitude and your vision, within 24 hours from each other, you actually get access to a chat room with other people that are also in the same stage.
Oh.
They're also in the zone. And the prompt that everybody's is answering in this chat room is, who will you empower today? So now you're talking about empowerment, right? Love energy.
That's great.
The fourth element is the mentor marketplace, which is coaches and mentors to help guide you. That's what we talked about, love energy, guiding you.
Talk to me, man.
All of these elements, the love energy philosophy has been built in a digital way that you can have in your pocket. Joy Plus, available on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to me for the first time, this is Andrew E. Guy sitting down with my friend, CEO and founder of the Joy Plus app, the one that you have to have on your cell phone, on your mobile device. You just got to have it because it's going to leave, you're going to download it in your phone, but then it's going to leave from the phone and it's going to consume you because it's going to come on the inside of you. And when you walk, think, speak, interact with everyone else, that spirit of joy is just going to flow out of you, because out of the abundance of the heart, we want that joy to flow. And that's why I'm excited about this conversation here with my friend John. So John, listen, we talked about the app, we talked about the book. That's where you're coming from. So where do you see yourself? People ask this question colloquially, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm not looking at 5 years. What I'm looking for, I'm working on a book called Create Your Greatest Impact, where you live, work, and play, right? And so I asked them this question. I said, if you were to die today, what will be your greatest deposit in the hearts of men? I'm not talking about what you're going to deposit in the roots of the trees so they can dance, because now they got your music, now they got your energy, they're dancing. What will be your greatest deposit in the hearts of men? Take it away.
Legacy. That is what we're talking about.
Yes.
And I think about this on a daily basis, and I think it's healthy for other people to think about it as well. I always feel like when you do pass, how are people going to remember you, and what have you deposited into the world?
Yes.
So it's a phenomenal thing to think about. I always feel like intellectual property lives forever. And if you want to live forever, if you want to, and I'm serious, if you want to live forever, intellectual property is a great way to do so. Because after I pass, the Joy and Love book will still be in Amazon, and it'll still be in Apple Books. And even bigger than I think the book is the social media platform Joy Plus. So what's super important for me is to continue to empower people while I'm here on this earth and even after I'm gone. It's the serving for me. You mentioned joy will consume you, and I kind of want to break down the science of it a little bit.
Go ahead, take it away.
Because that's important. Why is gratitude important? Gratitude is important because the more you express how grateful you are, first of all, when it comes to science, it's the more endorphins, serotonin, and oxytocin chemicals that are being released in your brain. So naturally, you feel good about yourself. So this joy that consumes you, it's scientifically proven. Now, if we're being realistic, we all, no matter how, Andrew and myself are very, positive, upbeat people, but everybody has adversity. Nobody is immune to it. Everybody has bad days. What's the best thing you could do on a bad day? Go over what you're thankful for. Go over we all have achievements and accomplishments. Go over what's in your gratitude journal. It will remind you, and it will resurface those exact same chemicals that we mentioned earlier. And guess what? You will now have more things to be grateful for. The more grateful you are, is the more gratitude you're attracting to your life.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely
That
love
is why gratitude is super important. And then, really short when it comes to optimism. I'm sure many of your listeners are familiar with the book The Secret and the law of attraction. The prompt that I ask in the vision board is, what will you achieve in the future? It's not what do you want or what can you or what would you like. It's none of those maybe words. It is very decisive. It is living by design, like we were chatting about earlier, not default.
Yes.
It is calling and manifesting what you want to achieve right there within your mobile app. And this form of manifestation allows you to execute even sharper.
Well, what I love that you're saying is that not only will you get access to the digital platform, but this digital platform is going to allow you to connect with individuals that can help to guide you along the way based on the vision and the mission that you have to take to accomplish everything that's inside your heart. I'm excited about this conversation, John. I'm just, that's just putting it mildly. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think that gratitude should be almost like a vitamin that we take every single day. And the best way to get it now it's going to be accessible digitally. So I would love to subscribe to the listeners out there. If you're listening and you're ready, I want to encourage you to get out there and get this app on the Google Play, get it out there and Apple app, get the Joy Plus app. And I like the last part of it is plus. That means you're adding to yourself. And as you add to yourself, as I've said before, when I'm spoken on many stages, I said we don't compete. When we are fully developed, we're now able to complete someone else. So I want you to go get some more joy, because the more joy you have, you will be able to actually express this and give someone else and bring someone else joy. You can be the new Santa Claus of the year. Go ahead and get the app. I will encourage you to go get it. John, listen, one of the things that I want to talk about is how you are managing family. We know you're working on that right now, but how do you manage family? People always say work-life balance. And part of the program that I teach, I said, it's not about a balance, because then you're going to have to choose between A or B, right? I said it's work-life enrichment, or the management of that you are entrusted with. How are you doing this? Because I know we talked about you're managing your team and how you're putting everything together. So how are you managing your personal life versus your entrepreneurial life? And how are you managing the people that you've been blessed to curate over the period of time to move your business forward?
One of the keys to life is to enjoy what you do. And I know it's such a simple thing that we've all heard before, but it really is so important. And I think it comes down to actually executing your passion and moving forward. Sometimes you just got to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what? I am going forward with my passion. So I encourage everyone to, and I know people have to go about it different ways. I get it. Sometimes you got to work a 9 to 5 to make ends meet, and then maybe a 6 to 9. And if that's what you got on your passion, if that's what you got to do, just sacrifice and make it happen. Other people have the capital but are afraid of the risk. But it's a short life.
Could you break that down a little bit about, executing on your passion? I understand it, you understand it, but for our listeners who are like, oh, execute on your passion, could you break that down for them so they can
I can break that down a little bit more. And I tried to paraphrase, but let's just get right into it.
Yes.
Many of us have passion projects. Some of us are just afraid of taking the risk. Let's pass that and say we're confident and we're ready to take this risk. How are we going to execute? So there's a few things that I want you to do to execute your passion. One is you need to be able to commit to your passion for at least 5 years and sacrifice from going out a lot, or you don't have time to go out, you don't have time to hang out. You need to put your energy into your passion. And then the second thing I want you to do is to be able to schedule these things. Earlier, Andrew and I were talking about being organized. You got to be super organized. And if it's not in your calendar, you don't really have time to do it. You got to be so disciplined in order to get your passion into a way where it can sort of make ends meet. And then when you start making profit from your passion, you reinvest it in your business, because you don't want to think about the first 5 or the first 10 years. You want your business to last 50, 100 years. You want to leave that big impact, that big legacy. So that's probably the shortest I could do it in this particular conversation. But it's a matter of having the courage going forward. Because if I was to break down some statistics for you, Andrew, while we're in this conversation, roughly, I would say about 5% of the population in Canada are wealthy, and we're happy for them. The bottom 5% might be in poverty for whatever reason. So what we have is this middle 90%. And this middle 90% are typically those that they might have a little bit of savings. That's fine. That's good. And they're growing the RSPs, but they're working 9 to 5. They're employees, right? So if you want to be within the wealthy, you're going to want to either consider business ownership. You're going to want to consider investing. And there's a bunch of different vehicles that you can invest in, whether it's real estate, stock, crypto, NFT, etc. Or you could be an employee or self-employed. So really just think, if you really do want to live the life of your dreams and give, when I say wealthy, it's, for me, I want to serve as much as I can. So business ownership and investing are ways to go about doing that, and working your passion can make that happen for you.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to me for the first time, you listen to Andrew E. Guy on the ILIRPODCAst. I'm listening. I'm ready. Are you ready? We're talking with the CEO and the founder of the Joy Plus app. It is the app that's going to increase the joy in your life and everyone that comes into your vision or into your circle. I want to encourage you to go and download this app today, even right now as we speak, after we finish the conversation. So I'm talking to Mr. John Robinson Jr. And after 15 years, John, of being in real estate, he made a hard shift and managed a SaaS team in higher education technology and vertical as his next achievement. It's a cultivation of his experience in real estate, tech, and personal development that enabled John to develop his methodology of empowerment and convert it to the algorithm that you will find in his Joy app. So there is a method here to what he's doing. This is what he has lived, and he is a successful individual, and he wants you to be successful too. So John, what I want to talk about right now for the next few minutes is I want you to kind of help the audience, the people who may have some pain in their life, who may have some trauma in their life, in addition to some drama. If you were coaching someone, because we do have mentors and coach when they get into the app, if you were coaching someone who just say, I don't know where to begin, where do I start? What would you tell them?
Everyone's unique. I would have to definitely do some discovery and learn exactly what it is that they're going through. Some people are having a rough time with their own spirituality. Some people are having a rough time with their relationships. Some people are having a rough time with their finances. Some people are having a rough time with their health. So I would have to do a deep dive, but if I was to just give you a general short list of where I would begin, I'll just simplify it right back down to what we were talking about when it comes to having some form of, when I say faith, I don't mean converting anyone to a specific religion. It's just a matter of believing that your destiny, you have a destiny, and it's up to you to will it to happen. Faith helps with that. And then help them with their confidence, regardless of what element of life that they want to pursue. Just remind them that we've all had losses. I've lost a few jobs along the way. well, we all have wins as well. That will tell you that more wins are coming as well. So be confident and be grateful for what you already do have. And then, from there, of course, there are very specific things that we're dropping these jewels all throughout this current conversation.
Correct.
But I want you to just continue to be organized, know exact. I don't use vague words. So be very decisive with what it is you want, and that will increase the probability of you actually executing your targets.
Awesome. John, it brings us to the time into our show where we talk about Think, Fire, Shoot. Is a part in a show where we put our guests on the hot seat. So I have the dial over here, and you're going to be on a stove, and I get to control how much fire we bring. I'm just saying right now. So it's called Think, Fire, and Shoot. And so I'm just going to ask you, you get 4 questions. I have the clock here. I got the stopwatch here, right here on the phone. We're ready to rock and roll. And so I ask these 4 questions based on your area of expertise. And so you get 15 seconds per question. All right. I know you're ready. You just said bring it. I see that in your face. I see the fire in your face. My friends down south would say fire in your face. I have too much fun doing this stuff. I'm so thankful I get a chance to, showcase God's greatest creation, humanity, and yourself, people like you. So this is a blessing for me, man, and I'm grateful for it. So how we start off is you're going to tell the people who you are. My name is John, and then you say, hey, a quick verb of your bio, what you do, how you help people, and where they can find you, and then you're live on the ILIRPODCAST, and this is what you're doing for Think, Fire, Shoot. So ready, go.
My name is John Robinson Jr. I am the CEO of the Joy Plus app. It gives you a gratitude journal, a vision board, and it connects you with mentors.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for Think, Fire, Shoot. As we say down in the South, think, fire, and shoot. So we have Mr. John Robinson Jr., and he's the CEO and founder. He's already told you that, so I don't have to go back over it. You understand what I'm saying? We're just going to jump right into this right now. So with question number one, on a scale of 1 to 5, how often do you express gratitude from wake up to sundown? From a scale, how often do you do that? Ready and go.
5. That was an easy one. From the moment you make up your bed in the morning, it's just another brand new day to make the dream happen.
All right. So we got that at 8 seconds and 48.4 seconds. All right. So 8 seconds, 0.42 milliseconds. All right. So we're going to turn up the stove. I got dollars going up right now. Okay. So here we go. Reset. All right. So John, in my book that's coming out, Create Your Greatest Impact, I asked the audience or the readers this one question. I said, on the highway of life, most people spend their time looking in the rear view mirror, but on the highway of living, you should be focusing on the windshield ahead of you. What say ye? Go.
Optimism. When you call out what is destined for you, you have a higher chance of executing your vision. You can do that in the vision board in Joy Plus.
11.6 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, and he ended with Joy Plus. So that means it started with thinking, but he's letting you know at the end of it, joy must consume you, and it add an added bonus of a plus in there. All right, question number 3. Okay. When was a time when you lost your joy, and what did you do to get it back? When was a time in your life when you lost your joy, and what did you do to get it back? Go.
It's tough. I'm going to try and keep it short. I do have a sibling that passed away. It was 21 years ago. Lost my joy, but I realized how much how much more love I had with friends and family. They really supported and empowered me. And I'm able to share this story with a smile because I have great memories.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that one was like 21.63 seconds. I understand that he has gone over. We'll credit that to his future appearance in the future. All right. So that question was a deep dive, and the judges, that's okay. Yeah, the judges allow that one to flow because you needed to hear. It's a deep dive. It requires that extra 5 seconds. So we will let that pass for now. All right, John, we got one more question coming up. All right. So, John, if you were to encourage, empower, inspire, motivate, to help someone transform their life from where they are to where they need to be in 5 seconds or less, how would you do that? Go.
Empower other people, and that energy will be returned to you.
My God. 4.3 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, J. Rob just cooked it. He's on fire. Excuse me. The stove is on fire, ladies and gentlemen. And you heard it here first. The man was on fire. Think, fire, shoot. With my good friend, founder and CEO of the Joy Plus app. Where can you get it? You can go and download it at the Google app, Google store. You can get it at the Play Store. You know, you can go out there and get it. But where I want you to go to get more information about this app is the joyplus.ca. Joyplus.ca. Go ahead and download the app. Go to the Apple App Store. Go to the Play Store on your Android and just download the app and add some more joy in your life. Now, John, this is a time where I get to close my mouth, and I'm going to give you the rest of the time, and any closing words that you want to say, anything you want to plug, just go ahead. This is your moment. I mean, we've been sharing moment. I'm stepping out of this right now. This is all on you. Ready? Take it away.
I think the greatest thing about your show is that you really get to know the other person that's on the other line. And that for the listeners that are listening, I just hope that Andrew and myself are able to empower you and encourage you to go ahead and be ready to execute. Execute was a word that we dropped a lot. So whatever it is your goals and whatever it is your targets are, you can make that happen. If you want to work on your passion project, guess what? You define yourself today. And I encourage you to make it happen. And if it starts off by just being grateful to get the right energy around you or the right optimism to keep your North Star in front of you, hopefully myself or the Joy Plus app could help you do so.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, but want to thank John and his team for allowing him to come and share with us today. And I just want to let you know the takeaway is simply this: you define yourself, but the experiences that you go through refines you. So you are the pencil, life is your sharpener, but at the end of it, you get a chance to have a point so you can make a statement, so you can write the vision. So those who get it will run with you. And so, John, I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to talk with you, opportunity just to vibe with you and to learn more about you. I'm excited about what you're doing down there. I just absolutely know that whenever you pass on, that knowledge, all that innovation is not going to be in the roots of trees. They're going to be in the hearts of men, and they're going to live perpetually to help the other rest of the individual become more joyful. All right. So I want to thank you so much for your time. And ladies and gentlemen, that's our time for the ILIRPODCAST. I'm listening. I'm ready. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you very, very soon.